I've got Rachel here with me, one of our favorite council clients from a building in North Surrey. What I wanted to start with, Rachel, is to ask you what your experience has been like as a council member, how long you've been an owner, some of the highlights, some of the lowlights over the last few years.
So I have been an owner for 6 years now. Of that, for the last 4 years, Stratapro has been working in our building. Some of the highlights are like just the ability to, like, our highlights. I love owning a place. And the nice thing with a council is a lot of the maintenance stuff I don't have to do. I don't have to mow the lawn. I don't have to paint the building. I don't have to wash the windows on the outside. A lot of that stuff's all taken care of. The downsides, especially, is the last 2 years with a global pandemic. It's been a lot harder. With Stratapro in particular, we've had increased cleaning, and they've stepped up and gone above and beyond all the time. If there is an issue or an emergency, Stratapro's in there within a couple hours, or not a couple hours, within a very short amount of time if there's a problem, which is awesome to have from a strata company, from a management.
It can be a couple hours. It can be a couple
I don't think
sure.
Your company has ever been more than an hour at any point in time, whether it was a 2 a.m., there was an issue with our electrical circuit, or the middle of the day, or our fire alarms going off at 2 a.m. You or your company are usually there within half hour, 45 minutes maximum. I don't think I've ever seen you guys show up like an hour after, unless you've heard from council and told not to worry about it. You guys are on point every time, because we've got 3 buildings in our strata, and if there's an emergency, you're there right away on top of it and working with owners and councils and any contractors that need to be called in. You guys are right there working on it.
Tell me a bit about how long you've been on council now? Has it been 3 years?
This is my 3rd year going on as a council member.
Yeah, and I know it's impossible to describe the experience in a few minutes, but what inspired you to get on council? What are some things you like about it? Some things you'd like things to be different, and has Stratapro helped you on council?
So as long as I've been on council, Stratapro has been there, and I have nothing but awesome things to say about them because they're always there helping out. Being on council it can be a little tedious. It is a little bit, as we're progressing and new members are coming in and joining, it's becoming more and more political. But even through all of that, there's consistency between some of the old council members, our strata management company, and then our caretaker, Stratapro. There's consistency there. There's a lot of trust that's been built up over the last couple of years. And just knowing things are getting taken care of now is huge.
Yeah, so I'm hearing communication and transparency, and yes, someone that you trust that is on site there. And even though you've got a strata manager, having that person who's on site and knows your building inside and out, that you can say, okay, yeah, Stratapro is giving me the straight goods here.
Yeah, so our strata management company is great for all of the paperwork side. So they're great at knowing who has fines, who doesn't have fines, who's breaking bylaws and doing all of that. But the actual physical maintenance of our building, Stratapro has been all sorts of on top of it. There's constantly crews, they're constantly going above and beyond to help out and pitch in where needed.
Yeah, so you're really feeling like you've been taken care of. You're sensing that Stratapro has got a presence, they're there, and you're feeling supported, and they're there.
Yeah, I mean, even over and above being on council, my unit wasn't leaking, but my ceiling started pouring buckets of water while I was at work, and I had somebody luckily at the house, and Stratapro was there right away to go in and get it taken care of. And there was a little bit of a communication hiccup there, but it all got sorted relatively quickly. That was when both 302s were leaking.
Right.
when
Right.
7 and 5 were both leaking. A
Yeah.
little bit of hiccups, not realizing that there could be 2 units with the same unit number out of all of the units leaking. But
Yeah.
even then, it was within an hour, everything was sorted.
Yeah. But you know that you've got some water leak issues when two suite numbers that are the same, are leaking at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I completely forgot about that. And you're absolutely right. Things
That
things like
was 2
that.
years ago.
Yes.
No, yeah, 2 years ago.
Right.
Guess that
Right.
was,
Well,
that was one of our first interactions because that was right before, or it would be closer to 3 because that was right before I joined council. Because
right.
I joined the following AGM.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. So Rachel, you've been an amazing part of the team, and your presence has been felt. What do you think? You trust us, and maybe another owner doesn't. What is some of the key ingredients to trusting someone in this business?
I am confused. Try again.
Okay, well, one of the reasons that we're able to do so much is the Strata Council trusts us to take care of the problem and resolve it. If there wasn't that trust, our hands would be tied, and we'd have to wait until another company comes in, or we'd have to, and the issue could get much worse. So that trust is key for us being successful. Why do you think? What do you think is the key ingredient for building trust between a strata council and a contractor like Stratapro?
Communication is key. Like if there's an issue, our strata has communicated to Stratapro that we're comfortable with them going through and taking care of it. I know it wasn't always the case because again, Stratapro was there before I was, and it was a year of communicating. But when there was an issue, Stratapro was upfront and honest about what the issue was, how to fix it, and almost 99% of the time, how Stratapro suggested to fix it was the way to go. So over time, that trust builds and builds and builds, and not all of the owners see that trust growing, but within council, we've seen it over and over and over again that Stratapro's trained and certified, and they know what they're talking about, especially with buildings as they get more used to it, and that communication's there. Like you guys know that if there's a problem, you guys can call who you need to get it resolved as quickly as possible, and you guys don't go with the most expensive person to get in there to fix it. You have your couple of key people that you deal with, and it's all about that network. The owners, I don't have time at 2 a.m. to figure out what's wrong with our electrical system, but you guys can go in and have a look and see, and you guys have your network of people, of contractors you trust that go in and help. So it's just a continual trust circle basically that keeps going.
Yeah, I remember specifically the power outage from August, and I think it was August 2019. And I remember hearing a loud bang and going outside, and there were people on their balconies saying that they saw a loud flash from the transformer box. And I didn't even know anything about transformer boxes at this time. This was 1 o'clock on a random, Monday afternoon or something. And by the time the next morning came around, I was up all night. We had isolated it that it was a switch inside the transformer, and I had authorized a $15,000 switch to get put into a truck and driven over, and the installation process began that next morning by 10:30, and by 8 or 9 o'clock that night the power was back on. That right there could have taken up to a week at least, if things were to go the way things normally go in a strata. Now, I put my neck on the line. Like, you know, if I didn't have that trust, you know, I would have lost the contract, right? That's a lot of money, you know.
But that's it with our trust, is we trust that when you have to make these decisions, you're doing it because it needs to be done right then and there. And you've built up the trust with our company that you're not out there doing these jobs and giving the money to your friends and their companies. You're doing these jobs as needed. And if it is any decision that can wait, you leave it up for council to decide.
Right. That's
Like
that's
when
it.
the
Yeah.
hot water tank went in in my building,
Yeah.
you didn't make that call. You presented council with 3 options and you told us which one you thought was best. But because we could wait, we did wait. But on like the electrical one, the week-long delay for the entire complex to not have electricity, you knew that was an emergency, and you knew, and we trusted you to take care of it.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it was risky, but again, I put my neck on the line for the owners, and I just trusted that it would work out, and that I relied on that trust. So we continue to build that trust. My last question for you is around some things that you think Jason could improve on. You know, the pandemic has been hard. It's been challenging from a business perspective. It's also been challenging from a people perspective. One of the reasons I started Stratapro was to build community. And, you know, with a flash of the eye, like, things just shut down, and we lost our amenity rooms. We lost our people talking and chatting. You know, the world was locked down with fear of this virus, and it's going on, you know, over 20 months now. One thing I can say for myself is, you know, I could definitely improve on being the leader for starting connections with people again, and just taking the time to chat with people. And it's already happening. I'm noticing that I'm just taking more time to chat with people, and not be so rushed and, you know, having a million things to do. But what are some other things you could recommend for me, some of these, to win over some of the people in the building that maybe don't know me or don't trust me yet?
For a lot of new people, like, a lot of it is time and seeing, but it's them and you connecting and understanding more of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on too. A lot of our owners don't know that it takes so long to vacuum all of our buildings. And then you go down and you clean all the elevators, and then you do this, and then you do that. And it's communicating and having, it's not even communicating, it's the ability for owners. And part of it is the pandemic, is a lot of people are home all day, every day now. A lot of people are still working from home, and they used to see that the hallways were getting vacuumed. Now they're seeing the frequency, and some feel it should be more, some feel it should be less. And it's the ability to be transparent and rebuild those connections now that more people are getting more comfortable having those 5-minute conversations in the hallway. Whereas before it was stay in your bubble. Now you can start expanding that out and communicating and rebuilding the in-person connections. Council members, we talk frequently just so that we're aware of what's going on, but we get your monthly reports, whereas not all of the owners, while they might get them, most of the owners don't read them, so then they don't know.
Yeah, I mean, our monthly report is meant as a tool just for the council. And
I don't know if it's attached in the minutes for everybody.
No, it's not. It could be, but someone would need to go in and black out all the anything that's a privacy issue, which, you know, someone would have to volunteer to do that. It's a lot of work.
That might be something to consider. It's more paperwork on your end, but you do a report for council would be for you guys to quickly modify it and just do a like November key points or December, like, hey, did you know in December we did da 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 da.
Yeah,
Like in December, we spent so many hours, we spent X amount of hours vacuuming and we took care of this issue. Like when you guys were dealing with the tree root problem that we had for that little bit there, I think that was summer of last year. This is the first thing that came to my mind, but doing and just having those key point notices that you could pin up on the bulletin boards so that the people that are home all day and not necessarily seeing you in person get kind of an understanding of what some of the things you are. You don't have to list like Monday we vacuumed for 2 hours and then we did this, but kind of an overall, hey, did you know December we have done, because I know some of our maintenance things is weekly, some's monthly, some's quarterly. And because you do those spread out through the year, you could do like a quick like half page notice of some of the things that you guys did that month.
yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Like just even a memo, put up in the common areas with just some key points of things that were accomplished over the month.
Like key things that were accomplished and like a, hey, did you know this month we did this? And also one thing that helps and do like something they can learn about your guys, what you guys did in the month, something that they can do better, and not in the like a you need to do this, but hey, did you know that if you don't pour grease down your drain, we're less likely to get drain blockages and things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And just little tidbits that they can do. And I mean, the vacuuming is a current issue with our group of owners, but hey, did you know that if you notice that there's a spot on the carpet that needs to get vacuumed, you can reach us at, and that way it's little things that they can that would give the owners more information so that they're not looking at it as blind, and they can kind of see what they can do, what you're doing, and they can work on building that trust with you guys individually as well.
That's great advice. I'm hearing communication. I'm hearing opening up avenues for owners to make comments. I think sometimes some owners are maybe a little intimidated to make their concerns known, and then those tend to get bottled up and increase over time.
Or they get given to one person who then takes it all and goes to war. But if the owners know that their voices will be heard, and you don't have to act on every single thing, but if they know that their voices will be heard and acknowledged, then that builds their individual trust with you guys as well. Because I know our council trusts you, but I know some of our owners just don't see and don't understand all of the background stuff. So helping show that helps them build that trust.
It's excellent advice, and we'll definitely put that into action here over the next couple months and see if that makes a difference as we transition through hopefully the final stages of this pandemic.
I hope so.
Me too. And Rachel, you've been a great leader. You've been a great part of our team and longtime supporter. So thanks for this video tonight, for your kind words, and for your generous feedback as well.
I appreciate everything you guys do.
That's great. We appreciate you too.